WMMJ-HD2 Bethesda, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com. The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management. Here we go.
Let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show. He cares, he shares, he knows. The journey of our youth is in our control. So tell your family and tell your friends that the word on the street is we all should listen in. So let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show.
Welcome back. Another Sunday evening, another day that the good Lord has blessed me to give me a platform to reach many. Another opportunity I get to thank my supporters, I get to thank my friends, I get to thank my mom and my dad, my Lord and Savior, just the masses. So all this week I'm guilty of never writing down and scripting out how my shows can go, because I believe in, doing things off the cuff and, showing who I am, the real me. Whether it be me pronouncing words wrong or not putting my sentences together correctly, I want to give y'all the real Archie. A couple of things I want to touch on. I know a lot of you watched the Hall of Fame enshrinement of these athletes, these football players that got inducted. The reason why I look at the Hall of Fame ceremonies or induction is because of the speeches that the athletes give. We're talking about humble brothers is making millions and millions of dollars, and to be rewarded for doing such a great job in the NFL, speaks volumes to who they are. But what I took from it, all of them, they always talk about family. They talk about family, they talk about unity, they talk about the people that, if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't have done this. If it wasn't for that person, I wouldn't have done this. There's always someone in our lives that if it wasn't for, we wouldn't be who we are, whether it be good or bad. There are some people that have been in our lives that have had us to do things that we shouldn't have done. But there has been a number of people that have been in our lives that have given us the tools and the wisdom to become good people. And you guys know I always like to give a shout out to the people that support me. And even the ones that I don't know that are supporting me, because I know that there are countless people that do support me that I have never even met before, I want to say thank you. Ray Allen said it best. Ray Lewis. Y'all gotta excuse me. This is a radio show. I can make mistakes. I can't even edit the joke, but my man Faheem. But he made a lot of valid points, man. It's just like to have somebody, and everybody has a story. Our publisher, Miss Pastor Karen Presley, she always tell me, she said, Archie, you're gonna grow when you tell your testimony. When you start telling your testimony, where you come from, and just like my guest in the studio, my man Faheem, we had dialogue before we came into the studio, and it was very powerful. I'm not gonna get into what we talked about, but like I told him, it's conversations like that men should have together, where you can actually learn from one another. Because no matter where you come from, you can always make the decision to better yourself. Hear me out. No matter where you come from, you can make the decision to better yourself. So I'm gonna get into the show. The show topic is gonna be today, why aren't people doing the bare minimum in life? The bare minimum. And you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the people that are at work. You try to figure, if your boss gives you an assignment, you frown your face, you get upset, and you try to work around it so that you won't do the actual thing that he's asking you to do, but you expect to get that paycheck every 2 weeks. Same thing with parenting. The kids are not asking for much, but you're doing the bare minimum. You're not even doing the bare minimum to make sure that your child has everything that they need, even though you don't. I said it last week. There are a lot of homeless folks out here that are still providing for their kids, that are still providing for their families, and they don't have anything. They're not complaining. They're all just junk grinding, trying to make it happen by any means necessary. You don't do the bare minimum. We don't do the bare minimum in school. And I'm talking to you, young people. You're not in school to not like your teachers. Your teachers are not in school to create bad and negative relationships with their students. That's not how it was set up to be. If you do the bare minimum in school, you'll be successful. We're going to touch on the church piece. The bare minimum. The bare minimum with church is going to church and receiving the word. Some of y'all not even going to church and receiving the word. Y'all going to church to be seen. Y'all be going to church to pick up on the latest gossip. The bare minimum in church is to go and receive the word. No matter what your religion is, no matter what your faith is. Go to your place of worship and receive the word. Once again, the bare minimum can take you so far in your life if you just do the bare minimum. This is the last one I'm going to touch on. I can touch on a lot. In a relationship, in a marriage, if you do the bare minimum in your relationship, and I'm going to throw a big word out here. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this big word? If you respect one another, that is the bare minimum in a relationship or a marriage that would carry your relationship or your marriage a long way. Don't respect the person when you feel like being in respect mode that day. Nah. Don't demand respect when a person done pissed you off. Nah, that's not how it works. You need to respect that person from the start of the relationship and to the end. Those are my thoughts for today. Y'all know I never know where I'm going to start with it. But I'm honored and I'm blessed to have this dynamite young man. He young. Every dude I come in contact with, we young men.
Yes, indeed.
Because on our heart, we got a lot of energy, a lot of love, and a lot of wisdom to pass out. And my man Faheem, just a good dude, man. You know, he's an actor. He's a mentor. You know, he's a loving dad. Come on, man. He's a loving husband. And I'm gonna share this story before we get into it. There was a picture came on Facebook, and I ain't met him, and he ain't never talked about it. He had on this nice jacket that my man at Shooters sell the shoes. This reflective jacket. Man, he had this joint on. The joint was a reflective joint. He had the black pants on with it. Man, I went straight to Shooters. Got that. So, to this day, I wear my reflective jacket because of my man Pancho. Real talk.
That's all right.
So without further ado, man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, man.
Man, first and foremost, I'm Faheem, Abdus-Salaam, and thank you so much, Archie, for inviting me to this phenomenal platform that you have here. And also, I'm doing it, since we talked about shooters, you brought him up, I didn't. We're going to shout out my main man, Shooter Rob,
Amen.
Because he makes it happen for us. So,
Amen.
Again, I'm kind of just a high-spirited, energetic native Washingtonian. I got about 25 or so years in community corrections in that profession there,
Okay.
in the social sciences and behavioral health management arena. Spent a lot of time working with many of the youth in Washington, D.C. So I got a lot of professional accolades that I can talk about, but the accolades and criteria that I'm most proud of is 1659 W Street Southeast and 4402 Pond Street in Northeast. That's in the heart of Kenilworth there, because those are the areas that I laid my head at coming up as a youngster, and where I kind of, as they say, made your bones in those two areas, because that's significant for me to always remember the backdrop and where I come from, so that people don't think that I just dropped down from the sky and arrived here to some level of this medial or minimum success that I've been having.
Well, you ain't got minimum success. Go ahead, you can be humble all you want to. My man Eric Williams said, tell you what's up, man. Eric is another one of my supporters, Pancho, man.
Oh, yeah.
Eric,
What's up, E?
6'9". He think he can hoop, but I know he can't.
Nah, he
can do a little something?
The big fella can put some work in.
He can put some work in?
Big fella can put
All
work in.
right, you just got co-signed. So we're going to get right into the show. Like I said, we're talking about people doing the bare minimum. And that was put on my heart to speak about it because, like I said, my show is a solution-based show. I like giving solutions opposed to, you hear a lot of shows that has a lot of rhetoric. They're just kind of just talking.
Mm-hmm.
I like to give solutions. And that was actually the title of the show is a solution.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
If we do the bare minimum, we kind of ahead of the game. We're ahead of a lot of people that's trying to figure out a way not to do anything.
Right. You're right. But in doing the bare minimum, it says that you don't have to put an awful lot of effort into anything. Most times, just showing up. A lot of places you go, they say, man, just show up. And people around you will help you navigate through the tough times, those trials and tribulations. But, you have to be present in order to do anything. If you're absent, you can't do it. Now, but I think a lot of people give just the bare minimum or some semblance of less than that because they're afraid of success.
There you go.
And the more successful you become, the more accountable one becomes. So a lot of people don't want that level of accountability. So it's easier for me to say I'm going to do the bare minimum and whatever happens with that happens. On every job you have performance appraisals and things of that nature. And all they ask you to do is meet the standard.
And what's funny? And the reason why and that's a valid point, meeting the standards. What's funny, and the way society blinds us, they send us subliminal messages and we're not even realizing the message they send us. So let's go back in time when the bare minimum was actually frowned on. So either you were taught to be great or people were talked about you as if you wasn't hitting on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing if you encourage someone to give the bare minimum, that's a start.
Yeah.
What we're doing is, what people have been doing over the years is trying to catapult people to be great, when in reality they know what they're doing. They're actually setting a person up for failure. That's how people get into the drugs. That's how people are on welfare. That's how people are they're not working hard to get these real jobs to really build a family because the bare minimum is not even taught.
Right. And it's interesting you say that because I oftentimes ask people, when do you feel like you're being used?
Amen.
And the reason why I'm going to that piece is because most times people feel like as if they're being used when the level of expectancy supersedes that of acceptancy. You begin to feel as though you're being used. So if you're asking me if the norm is just to do the bare minimum, and I'm good with that, but then you come in, Archie, and you say, look, man, I don't think that you're maximizing your potential.
Right.
You're basically telling me to go notches above what I am used to.
Right.
And so now I'm asking you, okay, well, where do you expect me to be?
Right.
If you have accepted me giving you mediocre work or accepted me giving you minimum work,
Right.
how can you now expect me to
Okay.
give more
Right.
if you've already accepted me as a minimalist?
And so once again, everybody that watches this show, this is a solution-based show. And I tell you all the time, Brother Faheem just pumped some knowledge. And I have to say it, we're not here to entertain. we are really here to give info to help so that you can pass it on to others. And I always challenge you guys. There are a lot of my friends that always coming on my live to hear my show, and I thank God for you guys. I really do. But I do want you guys to start actually telling other folks to either look at the live or turn it on the radio dial in the car while you're driving, because this movement is to bring change and it is to help people. And I told my brother Faheem, he's a dynamite quote dude, so I'm waiting for him to shoot us a quote real quick. You need me to do it on cue, or you want to just?
No, I mean, actually, just on that perspective there is because I'm doing a manuscript on of quotes by Faheem, And so I'm in the process of writing. I got maybe like 15 pages, as you can see, stuff, and I don't remember anything. You know, I guess that has something to do with age, but God has inspired me to write quotes based upon different type of life's issues, something of that nature. So something that I have, it says, what I see through my eyes is from my perspective and is not necessarily right nor wrong, for it's simply my perspective. If you tell me what you see in my eyes, I will appreciate your perspective. So the key to that is just looking at me. Tell me what you see.
Right.
You know, don't shun me. Don't ridicule me because I may not say it the way you want me to say it or you thought it should have been said. Just look at me in my eyes and tell you what your perspective is, and I'm going to appreciate it.
All right, 800-450-7876, 800-450-7876. Let's Figure It Out show, the Archie Beslow show, Let's Figure It Out. The reason I give you guys the phone number because we like for you guys to join in the dialogue. And y'all already know the show starts out slow. And by the time I get going into the second half, y'all know I'll be off the chain with it. So staying on course with doing the bare minimum. We are both in the title that I put on Facebook that we love our city. So we both can agree that we love our city.
Oh, no question.
So, and I'm gonna give it from my perspective on why I love my city, and I'm also going to award you the opportunity to give your reasons. Mm-hmm. I love my city because I was a young man who grew up on the government cheese. Mm-hmm. I grew up on eating the TV dinners. I grew up on eating leftovers. So, like some people now, when they say, you know, can we eat that? It was in the refrigerator for 5 days. Well, when I was coming up, there wasn't a date. Right. When I was coming up, we didn't look at dates on the packages. No. You know, we went and got milk. We just grabbed the milk, put it in the carton, and we took it home. So there were several times when the milk tastes different on different days, but we didn't say to ourselves that we drunk bad milk. Right. That must have just been a flavor that they added to that milk that week. Yeah. So but the point I'm getting with, why I love my city. I love my city because my city made me the man that I am today. That's why I love my city. I came up through trials and tribulations. I came up to watching my friends getting shot. I came up to watching young ladies that was mischievous because they didn't know any other way to be. I came up watching before they was calling dudes gay and all that. Well, we accepted the little gay youngin that was our neighborhood that can do the cheers better than the young ladies can do the cheers. Yeah. You know, and we was cool with that because he knew his role. Yeah. And when I say that, he knew who he wanted to be, and he wasn't afraid to let the world know who he was. So he got that respect from us in the neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah. But what I don't like in today's society, when folks are hiding who they are, and is affecting the people that don't deserve to be. I told you I wasn't going to kick it off to the second half, Faheem, but right now, something is moving me to go there. Yeah. Stop sending your representative. Please stop sending your representative. Because you're sending your representative to our kids. Our kids are sending your representatives. Our families are sending your representatives. Even society are sending representatives. Yes. We have a person in office that's a representative. Go ahead, Faheem.
I mean, man, look, you know, when you talk about sending the representative, you are who you are. First of all, what makes me love this city is the diversity of the city. We grew up in a diverse culture. We talked a little bit offline about the difference between a guy that grows up uptown, Northwest, and one that grows up in Southeast. Or people that grow up in Northwest and people that grow up on the south side of the city. And one thing that is, again, just my perspective, is that the Northwest person vibes off of entitlement. Because if you look at the surrounding environment for most people that grew up uptown, single-parent homes, legacy-built homes, and things of that nature, right? But then when you come on the south side of the city, those are not, they're single-parent homes on that side, but they're vibing off of survival, not entitlements, you know. And so when we start talking about who we are, our environment helped shape us. Like I told you, man, 1659 W Street on the hill, back in the day, a lot of violence going on top of that hill. And then definitely out in Kenilworth in the projects. So the government cheese and all of that stuff, I was just fortunate to have grown up in the household with my father.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of young men can't say that today, but as old timers, we can, for the most part, most of us can say that we knew who our fathers were, and they helped shape us and mold us. But this city, man, the love of this city comes from knowing that first and foremost, it's a diverse culture. It's a culture that we've all grown to love and respect,
yes,
no matter who you are,
right.
no matter what your orientation in life is, we accept it.
Right.
And above all, we the nation's capital. It don't get no better than being the nation's capital. So we have to do a better job of setting examples
and seeking opportunities too,
and seeking the opportunities for everybody.
The opportunities out there.
Yeah.
But now I want cut your thought off.
I mean, but it's just again, it's just, man, us just growing up in an environment when you can have, and I'll go back just to history, but when you can have a mayor who many try to bring him down,
right?
And God rest his soul, but Marion Barry, but he's mayor for life. So you got people try to bring him down, but look at what happened because of the diversity, because of our culture, because of our understanding of what's going on in everybody's lives, because of our upbringing. We raise the fist and say, man, that's our mayor. He's entitled to have some learning. Now shut up with this one. Watch this. I ask people all the time, have you ever made mistakes? Right? And you hear people always say, yeah, I've made mistakes. Well, brother, I've never made a mistake in my life. And there's some semantics behind it, right? Because it's just me, but I looked in a concordance of a Bible.
Okay.
And I went to the section of M's, and I tried to find the word mistake. I didn't find it.
Okay.
I also took my cell phone and went to the concordance in the cell phone, and I typed in the word mistake in the search engine. Well, all of the scriptures regarding mistake came up, but the word mistake was never highlighted in any of those scriptures. So it would say erred and things of that nature. You erred or something of that nature. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to use that word. So I changed it and I just say this. I've never made a mistake. I've had some awful or awesome learning experiences based upon some favorable or unfavorable decisions that I've made. But I don't know what a mistake or a mistake represents anymore. So I'm not using that word in my language. So again, growing up in this city and the love that I have for this city allows for me to be able to think a little bit outside of the box.
Right.
Because I grew up in a city that thought outside the box. When they re-elected Marion Barry, when we accepted a lot of other people to come into our city who were not homegrown, mind you, and lead us. And we accepted that, right?
I'm gonna dive in there because I'm wow. So I'm going to the Marion Barry piece. I'm going to equate that to the whole Hall of Fame, guys being inducted into the Hall of Fame. What people the bigger picture that people don't take from it, and a lot of people say it, but they not understand what they're saying, and they're saying the same thing about Mr. Barry. He is the mayor for life. And the reason why they say he's the mayor for life, he didn't put his shortcomings before helping people. No. Mr. Barry put people first. And sometimes he even never looked at himself, because even in his shortcomings, he was forced, for the word that we're using, to be claimed as making a mistake. Mr. Barry didn't make mistakes. When you do so much for so many, for so long, people didn't call him mayor for life because he got locked up. They call him mayor for life because he never stopped fighting. When I was protecting Mr. Barry, we would go on Barry Farms. And being security is like, okay, where you going, sir? Where you going? There would be a screen door open and unlocked. Mr. Berry would just walk in the house and ask the dude protect him, sir, do we know this person? That's why I got that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Right.
We would go in the house and the people would lose it. Oh my God, it's man Berry. Sit down, you want something to eat, blah, 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 blah. I would see that guy do that time and time and time again. What I learned from that is, if you are true to who you are and not send your representative, you're going to always be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be able to defend you. You can't defend yourself and your representative.
No, you can't. And it's interesting you say that because, again, we go back to our backdrop, where we come from, and what made us the men we are today.
Amen.
We were just who we are. We were true to ourselves.
Right.
And so, again, with the situation with Barry, he was, and I know you probably wonder why they just jump off and go talk to Barry.
That's what we do.
But we're talking about
DC,
our city.
We
when you can't talk about love for the city and not talk about love for that guy.
Come on,
and so
being a part of the city.
No, that's right. So I mean, my thing has always been, man, look, he didn't make a mistake.
No.
He had an awful learning experience based upon an unfavorable decision.
Yeah.
However, he made every attempt to correct that awful learning experience, and he gained an awesome learning experience because he made a favorable decision to come back and make it right.
Come on, man.
So,
man.
to me, I don't know, again, mistakes and all that and who we are, so, yeah.
And it's funny that whole situation, a lot of us, people always try to throw the age on when that happened. So it's funny, Mr. Berry could have found his face when our brothers jumped out there and created this T-shirt. And I'm not going to say what was on the T-shirt, but everybody if you live in D.C., you know what that T-shirt said. So instead of him downplaying it, he allowed the brothers to capitalize on that. Because, once again, Mr. Berry know who he was. And at the end of the day, we as even young people, and I hope everybody paying attention, even as a young man, that situation with Mr. Berry was a learning experience that was more educating than the curriculum we were learning in schools.
Come on now.
I don't think people, I don't think they get that.
Come on now.
Go ahead, Faheem.
I mean, you talking to a dude, man, that just that went on Facebook and did 2 verses of the Black National Anthem.
Amen.
I can't sing that well, but I thought that it was right because we have to get back. I mean, in the midst of like all this national anthem talk, and I'm like, man, can we go back to just basics? Or what basics represent for our people, man.
Minimum.
And so if I'm not going to argue. For instance, I'm not going to have a conversation with anybody arguing about whether or not I should stand for a national anthem, kneel for a national anthem, or what that platform is. Hey, man, I think Weldon Johnson did a really fantastic job of saying, lift every voice and sing.
Amen.
Till earth and heaven ring.
Yeah.
Ring with the harmony of liberty. So at the end of the day, that's everybody. There was no exclusionary factors in that, man.
Everybody.
He said lift every voice, right?
Amen.
So if you can lift your voice and hum a tune, then let's do that. So I think that the acceptance of I would say learning experiences, awful learning experiences from many of our leadership, whether it was back then or today, we have to accept that at the end of the day, we're just human, man. We're human people, man doing a mighty job of Allah, man. That's it. We're doing the work of God.
We got our first call on the line. Caller, you called in from Detroit?
Hey, what's going on, Brother Archie? This your brother Rock, man.
Hey, there you go. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hey, look, great conversation today. Hey, God bless and salute to your guest, and God bless to you, sir.
Amen.
Thank you.
But what I want to say real quick, though, is that you gentlemen are hitting it on the head. And one of the things, the reason why the late mayor, the reason why he can't be dismissed, and the reason why he is the mayor for life, is once again he was a servant leader.
Yep.
He was an individual that, as you said it the best way. He never stopped serving the people.
Yeah.
No matter in what capacity he was, if he was in one of his lowest times or he was in his highest times, he never stopped serving the people. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to cause any controversy, but there's a lot of charity that happens in the world today, and there's nothing wrong with charity. Charity has its place, but there is a major difference between just being charitable, giving someone something, and actually serving someone something. Wow. Two different things.
Amen.
So that's all I want to say, brother.
Well, you always got an open invitation to come on my show.
I appreciate you.
I'm your #1 fan, Slim.
Thank you, brother.
That's my man, brother. Speak Rock, man. Dynamite, phenomenal young man. All the way from Detroit, Michigan. He has nothing on his heart but love, and nothing on his heart but bringing change, man. And hey, man, I just thank you, brother, for what you're doing.
Hey, no worries, man. Y'all have a blessing.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
my man.
That's an interesting piece, man. And again, it's just just talking about bridging. We're basically talking about bridging gaps and how we bridge these gaps of understanding. And in anything that we do, what we have right now is what we're doing right now is called relating.
Yep. And building a relationship.
And the root word of relating is relate, right?
Relate.
So if we're talking about to relate and things of that nature, most people, you ask anybody, well, what's the almost perfect way to what's the way to an almost perfect relationship? Most people would say communication. Right? You hear that all the time. Well, we got to communicate. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't necessarily believe that communication should be the first line there. I think that because we can be communicating and agreeing to disagree on a regular basis. So that just means that Archie and Faheem come together. We agree to come together to talk about our issues, to talk about our concerns, and then guess what we do? We say, man, look here, we're just going to disagree with that, and we go off in our own separate directions. Well, I would like to see a foundation where we agree to come together, and we're going to agree to only talk about the positive attributes of Archie and Faheem. We're not even going to talk about nothing negative. We're not going to, anything that could hold us back, we're not going to even deliver that in our path. We're going to talk about everything positive, and then we're going to agree to walk into a new path, right? Here's the big thing. You're talking about communication. For me, it's never about communication. It's about understanding the person that you're relating with, emotional stability, their emotional state of awareness.
Because you can communicate without talking.
All day long. Let me give you this example. If every day for 365 days a year, I purchase my wife a flower, and I take that flower home to her 365 days and put it in the vase on the table every day for 365.
She knows she loves you.
I'm teaching her how to what to expect of me, right? But every day we do that, I do that. Then on the 366th day of a leap year, or the first day of the next year, she comes in the house and don't see that flower. What do you think her mind is thinking? I'm communicating my love to her with this flower every day, and I'm being consistent in it. But it's not there this day.
Right.
What do you think she's thinking, man? What happened to my flower? What's going on? Something's wrong.
Right.
Well, me understanding her emotional stability says, you better take something home. So you know what I'll do? Stop past CVS, get a blank card, draw a picture of a flower in it, and put ... still loving you.
Wow.
Because that's understanding her emotional state of awareness. And so even in our communities, in the District of Columbia, growing up, we have to learn the art of understanding each other's emotional awareness and stability. Everybody can't take, the good with the bad, so you got to understand that, right? And be prepared for it.
So I knew the show was going to be deep, and I love for people to come on and be sharper and deeper than me, because that's how I grow. Now, whatever. Hey, Slim, I ain't got a problem. I ain't got a problem saying that, because at the end of the day, once again, this is a solution-based show. Yeah. Once again, Brother Faheem gave you a solution. Brother gave you a go-to. Everybody can't communicate, but everyone can do an action to show some form of communication.
Yes.
whether it be to just give your mate a hug, whether it be to just give your child a hug, whether it be to just tell your boss, thank you. Now, some people may say, why should I tell my boss thank you? Let's think for a minute. So, first of all, people don't know your boss becomes your representative.
Yes.
But what we do is we want to clash with our bosses when something isn't going right, without thinking that one day I may need my boss. Now, need is a powerful word.
Yeah.
Now, some people say, "Well, I don't need nothing." No, we do. You need the air to breathe. You need food. So, what I'm getting at, we need to stop having actions against people that we know we need.
Absolutely. And you know you hear that a lot. And no disrespect to anyone out there, but I hear it a lot in the claim of independence. I hear a lot of people talking about, I'm an independent person and I don't need this for nothing. Oftentimes, and no disrespect, but I hear a lot of women, a lot of sisters say, I'm an independent woman, I don't need a man for nothing. And so I said, look here, I respect your surgeons, your surge to do things on your own. That may make you more intradependent. But independent, it means that you're free from everything. You don't need anything. And I say to them this. If you really think that you're independent, do me a favor. Catch a flat tire, call AAA, and when they pick up, tell them to send you an independent person to come and change your flat tire.
And guess who will show up? Nobody.
Not one person. Because at the end of the day, we're all dependent upon each other. We have to depend on each other, man.
Boy. Give me a quote, man. Come on.
Well, let me give you this one here. This one is real simple. It says, I would prefer that you hate me for being me, opposed to loving me for being someone else. Now these are quotes that I just write, man. I try my best to not come across anything that someone else said. If they did, I apologize. They said it before me, but I'm writing it down and putting it in the manuscript.
So I had a young man in here by the name of Tyler Stallings, and he was 6. So I told Tyler did something in the studio when I told him I was going to unscrew all the microphones and just drop them on the floor.
Yeah.
I call him the Archie Beslow, so drop the mic moment. what brother Faheem just gave you was a drop the, if you can, because I'm a repetitive type of dude. Can you reread that quote, please?
Absolutely.
I need my listeners that are listening to please listen and retain what my man just said, please.
I would prefer that you hate me for being me.
Stop right there. You remember we had a preach speech? Stop right there.
Yeah.
Not very fair.
I would prefer that you hate me for being me, opposed to loving me for being someone else.
I got Nick.
Stevie Wonder wrote a song about that. I can only be me. Butterflies begin from having been another, as a child is born from being in a mother's womb.
I'm ready.
And I think that was Stevie Wonder. I don't correct me, but he's talking about just me being me.
Amen.
It's just about being me.
I'm y'all, everybody know Coach Archie I get speeches up in this joint. The brother spitting, he's spitting the quotes, he's singing, he's pouring it from the heart. There are so many people, Faheem, in our midst that has so much to offer. Yeah. And people take for granted to receive their wisdom because they're thinking that people like you and I are too great to approach. And I always go back to this, and we was talking about it earlier. There was always somebody in our neighborhood and I'm gonna say it because it was funny. My man, Cedric the Entertainer, and he was joining about the dude that had that cigarette on his lip that never will fall. That dude that was talking that talk.
The mechanic
dude.
Yeah, we all got one.
We all got one. Yeah. And we always had that dude in our neighborhood that was fixing on cars, that was doing something. That will always say, "Come here, boy. Let me come here for a second. Why you got your pants hanging out like that?
Yeah.
Why you cussing around these senior citizens? Why you ain't take the trash out? Why you ain't help him over them bags?" that was the bare minimum in our neighborhood that we got for dudes. There's nothing to, you should never fear a young person. No. First of all, if you have God in your heart, and the message that you are giving them, you're giving it from a good place. Yeah. You can never give our young people a message from anger or from an attitude.
No, it doesn't work. And I think that, so many people are watching us. For instance, like I said earlier, I work in the field of community corrections and been doing so for the last 25 years, right? Mm-hmm. And I often run across a lot of guys who are having problems. Like, one of the things that disturb me is hearing people, particularly in the criminal justice arena, hearing this conversation of, well, man, now, can I say this? The white man bought the drugs in the community, man. The white man bought them guns in the community. Right. And I listen to it and I'm like, well, I'm sure they may have authored some of this and the processes and things of that nature, but on a higher level, man, just because you drop the drugs in the community don't mean I have to partake in it.
Come on, man.
Because you drop the hammer in the community don't mean I need to go and pull the trigger. Right. It's almost like, even with now the legislation, Initiative 71, about marijuana use and decriminalization of marijuana in the District of Columbia, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. I tell a lot of guys, when has anybody ever done something really, really good for you with great intent for you? Mm. So if you think that the initiative was actually designed for you to just have a free-for-all, all you have to do is look at the fine print. Mm. It's clear. It tells you when you can smoke it, how much you can smoke, where you can smoke it, and where you cannot. Mm-hmm. So if it tells you that you cannot smoke it in the public, please explain to me why everybody in the public smoke it.
I want people, well, Faheem, and I'm going to let you finish that statement, that thought. I want people to explain to me how you can be that excited about something of that nature passing when you're not angry about people taking prayer out of school. I'm angry when the same people that are talking about taking prayer out of school, but you're not setting up entities for families to come to pray after school. Yeah. So we once again, we're in a society when it sounds good when you say it, mm-hmm. but when it comes time for implementation, mm-hmm. you're nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. My child don't have to pray in school if I'm praying with my child at home. Stop finding excuses. My child does not have to pray in school if I pray with my child at home. My child doesn't have to edify anyone else but myself if I'm allowing my child to edify me based off the works that I'm doing in front of my child.
So now you're going with the assumption that that the parent or the dominant parent is there to even teach or model for the child. So if you're saying that, if I can do this at home, if it starts in my household, then certainly my child will send that legacy from home into the school and into the community, right?
Exactly.
Oh, well, man, that's an interesting piece, because let me just say this. I mean, even because you're getting into an arena of talking about like parenting, right? And we all know that, man, parenting in itself is a process of trial and error, to which there are no manuals, right? Yeah. So I ask a lot of guys, man, can you do me a favor? I know you got issues with your dad not being there or your mom really not being around the way you wanted to be. Right. But can you forgive them unconditionally, no excuses, because but for them, we don't exist.
We don't exist,
and the genetic makeup was something that was created from a higher power for your mom and dad to come together to create you. You didn't get an opportunity, man, to pick them, because I'm sure if we had an opportunity to pick, none of us would have probably gone through poverty.
Come on, man.
It wouldn't be no government cheese. Yeah. It wouldn't be no boiling the water on the stove because there's no hot water in the house. You know what I'm saying? So we would have been in the privileged realm. Right. But a higher source saw that it was okay for that higher source to say, look, I'm going to design or genetically create these people to create you.
Amen.
You know, it's almost like this. You ever heard people say this? I'm not perfect.
Right.
You hear people say it. I see a lot of stuff that people may have issues with, but I don't say I'm not perfect. Archie, I'm perfect.
Well, that's right.
You're
the perfect you. I'm the perfect me.
You know why?
Amen.
And here's the thing. Because an apple begets an apple, and an orange will beget an orange. So if an apple can beget an apple and an orange begets an orange, please explain to me, how can a perfect being create anything other than perfection? So at the end of the day, I'm not claiming I'm a perfect being just striving to be perfected in the eyes of the highest of perfection. But if the most perfect of all created an entity that's perfect, who created now an entity that's perfect, we're all apples from the same tree of perfection. I just don't espouse to anyone telling me things that I am not. Look, I'm accepting my greatness.
Amen.
I am striving to be perfected, knowing that I will never obtain the highest level of perfection because I give that to the highest of all.
Wow.
So when it's all said and done for me, man, I just have a different way of thinking and promoting our awareness and our love for self.
Once again, I tell my listeners all the time, I can have any and everyone in this studio. But what I do is I sort after people that understands that there's a higher calling, there's a higher assignment than to just to exist on this planet.
Absolutely.
If you're not taking every day of your life to make some form of a difference to someone in your life, then you're wasting time in this life.
All day long. All day long.
We Brother Faheem, we complain about our sports team not making the playoff. We complain about our food not being warm. We complain about it raining 7 days straight. We complain, fam.
Yeah.
If you took the time and energy to not complain, but at that moment where a complaint is going to come up, pick up the phone and call somebody in your family that you know needs to hear from you. That may be dying. A friend of mine, God rest her soul, Miss Nikki Reynolds, I watched that young lady on Facebook share her life story from going for chemotherapy to going to the doctor. And I commend her husband, man. A big shout out to her husband that was with her the whole time. That was going through everything that she was going through. But the young lady put it on Facebook for him. Come on.
That's powerful.
You feel me? So she was what's the word when you're not selfish? Help me out here.
Self-full?
She just wasn't selfish.
She
shared her.
She's inviting, engaging. She was a part of the community, and she allowed the community to be a part of her. But you know, with that said, it's like this. And another quote is this: excellence is not something you wait on; it's something you bring with you. You know, we can't wait on that. You bring that with you. And so I ask people all the time, man, can you do me a favor? Just accept your greatness. Stop apologizing for being great.
And right? And that's a very valid point, because at the end of the day, when people, I'm gonna go deep with this one. People will retain an apology for a second. People will retain your actions for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're quick to say I apologize. We're quick to say I'm sorry. We're quick to say forgive me. Well, my personal position with this, if you're praying every night, if you're thankful for the things that you have, if we believe in what we supposedly believe in, well, he's going to let the person know to forgive you because he's going to send something to that individual to let them know that, hey, Archie and Faheem is one of my kids that are doing great things. What just took place, they did not mean to do that. And I can validate that.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're not in tune spiritually wise, you'll never get it. Like some people won't get what I just said. It probably went over their head.
No, without question. But here's the thing. It takes a lot of courage to say certain things and be unapologetically you for saying what you say. But you can always say what you say when your actions follow it, when your actions solidify what you're saying. Correct. So real courage rises once your false image drops.
Repeat that. Real
courage rises once your false image drops. Now you're able to let people know who are you for real. You know, the youngsters say it to us all the time, like, man, look here, you 50.
Right.
If you get a youngin that call you 50, you might want to go look in the mirror and reevaluate yourself because he's saying you half and half. Sometimes you are, sometimes you are not.
Yeah.
And so who are they following? You know, it's almost like our parents, you say, do as I say, not as I do. Well, yeah, but Mom, if you smoking,
right,
and you made it, why can't smoking be all right for me? But Mom, if you not praying, if you don't believe, then why can't I do the same thing? If you don't go to work and you're operating off of systems assistance on a regular basis, then why can't I?
It's about to be a to-be continued show.
I'm just, I mean, the reality is this, like we tell a lot. Look here, I'm about legacy building.
Amen. That's it.
You know, my grandfather, Leroy Harrison Sr., raised my father, Leroy Harrison Jr., and all 11 of them Harrison kids in Kenilworth, you know, with Bernice Harrison in Kenilworth in a 5-bedroom area with 11 children. And guess what? You could never known that there were 13 people in the 11 children and 2 parents. You would have never known that they were in this house together because it was spotless. There was decency, there was order, there was respect. And that now that I say that, and ain't nobody locked no doors. I guess you didn't have to with 11, 13 people in the house, so you had to lock no doors. But, you know, the bottom line to it is, what I'm saying is, we have to get back, family and friends, and to everyone that's out there listening, we really got to get back to accepting our greatness and building upon this legacy. You know, what are you willing to your legacy? You know, if you're willing incarceration and drug usage, just a really mediocre lifestyle, if that's what you're willing to your legacy, we have a problem. We need to change it. You know, we really got to change it. You have to will financial thought processes.
They say
religious thought processes.
Yeah.
You know, so the spiritual, the emotional, the psychological thought process has to be, you know, appropriate, and that's what we need to will to our people.
I want to thank God. I'm going to do a speech like I just received something, because that brother that's sitting here with me today, man, is... my man Faheem said, go ahead, but I told him, but real talk, fam, what I get, and I am who I am today, because I'm always going to edify another brother. And I'm going to do it because relationships, man and man relationships, are hard to come by.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, if you have someone in your midst that can help you, and when I say help, I mean helping you with, they have the same mind, the same thought process. They say it all the time, and this is fact. If you hang around millionaires, at some point you're going to become a millionaire. If you hang around the dudes in your hood and they selling drugs, you're going to sell drugs.
Yeah.
If you have a family that you guys go to Disneyland, you go eat every Friday, you go do whatever, 9 times out of 10, when you become a family yourself, you're going to do the same thing for your kids.
Absolutely.
I always ask this. Every human being, everyone, unless you have some type of mental capacity where you just are not in control of your own thoughts, knows right from wrong.
Yeah.
Every human being, before they make the wrong decision, something in their brain tells them, wait a minute. Whether even as a minute of a fraction of a second, something tells you not to do it.
Yeah.
What I challenge my listeners at this moment, stop finding excuses, and let's start teaching our youngins what it means to do the bare minimum and how effective you can be, even if you start. And I'm going to do one small thing. I know, brother, we got 2 minutes. No, go ahead, jump in there, brother.
No, I just wanted to do this because I think you're going to close out in terms of the bare minimum.
My man, do it.
Let me just say this final quote. First, I want to thank Ed Huck Hill for linking us, man. That's my God. That's my God brother there.
Yes, sir.
But I want to say this: value is my belief system or the ethical standard, and worth is how much I'm willing to compromise my values for. There's a price for everything that we do.
Wow.
How much are you worth? And what are you valuing is what's critical for me.
I might just, in my brother.
I know we danced all around a whole bunch of stuff.
But what I tell you about this show? This is a real show.
Yeah.
I don't have no producer. All I got is Nikki. That's my engine. That's all I got is Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
I know, right? Nikki keep me on point. That's all I got. And Nikki said I got 2 minutes. Nikki, she gave me the 2 minutes with the super grit look on her face.
Yeah.
I thank God for you.
Thank you.
I thank him for dudes like you. There are a lot of dudes out here in these streets that we witnessed grow up that we learned a lot from. We learned a lot from the good dudes, we learned a lot from the bad dudes, and we learned a lot from the confused dudes.
Yes.
But we learned something from all the dudes. I'm going to leave y'all with this. God has truly blessed me to give me this platform to send a message out each and every Sunday. And I pray to God that the guests and myself are giving you guys great information so we can pass this fruit on to the people that need it. I love y'all. I thank y'all. Thank y'all for listening to WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, and WLDCnews.com, where information is power. This is the Archie Beslow Show. Let's figure it out. I'm humbled, I'm happy, and I'm blessed. Thank God for all you guys. Love y'all. See y'all next week.
Butterflies begin from having been another. As a child is born from being your mother's womb. But how many times have you wished you were some other? Someone than who you are. Yet who's to say that if all were uncovered, you would like what you see?
As humans, we ask ourselves all kinds of questions.
Love y'all.
Wow, man. Thank you all, Facebook, for looking in and listening. Appreciate you all. Love you all. And thank you to my main man, Archie, man, for giving me the platform. I know we danced around, but hey, that's what brothers from around the way do. You know, that's kind of like barbershop talk. We start off one thing, we go into another. Respect you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Amen. All right. I'm out. Hey, I love y'all. Keep supporting me. I love y'all. Amen.